Right now, one person is dead after a crash that blocked University Avenue during the morning commute. We'll have the latest details on what happened.
And we're expecting another cool and cloudy day for us, but we'll take a look at what's coming up next.
Good afternoon. This is News 3 Now at noon, and welcome. I'm Mark Kane. We start with the latest developments on a crash that blocked westbound traffic on University Avenue in Middleton this morning. The Middleton Police Department says one person has died after the crash, which happened just after 7 o'clock this morning at the intersection of University Avenue and the eastbound Beltline off-ramp. They believe the driver that died likely suffered a medical emergency before the crash. The driver of the other vehicle suffered minor injuries. University Avenue reopened after being closed for about 2 hours. President Biden is now on his way back to the U.S. after a 5-day trip in Asia. Global security concerns highlighted the last day of his trip. Skylar Henry reports from the White House.
At the same time, we're navigating a dark hour in our shared history.
President Biden met with the leaders of Australia, Japan, and India and said global security is threatened by Russia's attack on Ukraine.
Putin is just trying to extinguish a culture. He's not even aiming at military targets anymore. He's taking out every school, every church, every natural history museum. The world has to deal with it, and we are.
India stands alone among the Quad members, remaining neutral in Russia's war in Ukraine. And the president would not say whether he asked the prime minister to take a harder stance against Russia. But all 4 members say they cannot allow the same thing to happen in the Indo-Pacific.
The fundamental principles of international order, territorial integrity and sovereignty, international law, human rights, must always be defended, regardless of where they're violated in the world.
President Biden made international headlines Monday when he said the U.S. would provide military support for Taiwan if China invaded. The president insisted Tuesday that his comments were in line with standing U.S. policy.
Our policy has not changed at all. I stated that when I made my statement yesterday.
The U.S. has maintained a policy of strategic ambiguity, reserving the right to use force without explicitly committing to do so.
Mr. President, is the policy of strategic ambiguity towards Taiwan dead?
No.
While the meeting was taking place, Russian and Chinese fighter jets conducted military exercises over the Sea of Japan and the East China Sea. Skylar Henry, CBS News, the White House.
Well, another round of primary elections across the country today could provide a preview of the nation's political future. 5 states are voting today, and all could provide some insight on how much influence former President Trump still has. That's especially true in Georgia, where Trump and former Vice President Mike Pence are backing different candidates in the Republican primary for governor. Pence is backing current Governor Brian Kemp, while Trump is backing former Senator David Perdue. One of the 10 Republicans who tried to cast electoral college ballots for Donald Trump, even though he lost Wisconsin, could soon become the chair of the Wisconsin Elections Commission. Bob Spindle has been an outspoken member of the Bipartisan Elections Commission and a supporter of the investigation into the 2020 election. He plans to run for chairman of the commission. Since the previous chair was a Democrat, state law says a Republican must be voted as the next chair. The commission scheduled to hold a vote tomorrow. Republican fake elector running that election will be held, the vote will be held tomorrow. Let's head to the weather center now. Julian Seawright has a look at your certified most accurate forecast. Another cloudy, cool day out there.
That's right. That's going to be our trend for the next couple of days for us. It's going to be cool. It's going to be cloudy. Except for the changes is that we're going to start to see some showers rolling in later on tonight. But until then, this is what we're going to see for our afternoon. Cloudy conditions, temperatures in the 60s, and not a whole lot of wind. So another cool day. It's going to be relatively comfortable. May see a couple of bursts of winds from the southeast to try to give in a little bit of a breeze. But for the most part, folks, it's going to be another comfortable day for us. Now, here is a visual of us looking at the increase in cloud cover. We were seeing just some broken up clouds earlier this morning, but now as we are into our afternoon, we're looking for a bit more thicker layers of clouds that are going to stick around for us throughout the rest of our afternoon hours. But temperatures as of right now around southern Wisconsin, 63 degrees in Janesville with 56 in Platteville. All of us are into the cool side. Again, another comfortable day for our Tuesday. So planning out the rest of it as we get into our evening hours, just know it's not going to be much change. We are looking at more more clouds to just stick around, and that's going to be the theme as we get towards tonight. But temperatures themselves are not going to be really seeing much of an increase, but still holding on to cooler temperatures. One thing we are going to start to see a bit of a change is that we do have a marginal risk for some storms to go into the severe category heading into our Wednesday. That's what we're going to be taking a look at in just a few moments. But until then, back to you, Mark.
All right, Julian, thank you. Dane County's district attorney says the community is one step closer to closure after 21-year-old Kari Sanford was found guilty of the murders of Dr. Beth Potter and Robin Kari. The jury handed down the conviction on both counts of first-degree intentional homicide last night. After about 3 hours of deliberation, District Attorney Ismail Ozan says he spoke with the family of the victims before the verdict was read, and despite the gruesome murder, he is still confident in law enforcement's ability to keep the community safe.
I am very proud of this community in that we have people who are willing to give of their time, especially in the middle of a pandemic, willing to come in to sit in close quarters, to hear very difficult subject matter, and to take the time to really go through it and come to a just verdict.
A sentencing date for Sanford has not yet been set. He faces a mandatory life sentence, but the judge in the case could grant him the possibility of a parole at a later date. A high school near Green Bay is hoping a sign will help explain its mascot. Kokona High School's mascot is the Galloping Ghost, but some thought the statue outside the school looked too much like a member of the KKK. The district hopes putting a sign next to the statue will help explain the history tied to the mascot.
Unfortunately, when you come in, some people will get the perception possibly that it's a hateful symbol versus the Galloping Ghost that it's intended to be.
The district school board voted to approve the signage next to the statue as long as it doesn't exceed $25,000. There's more to come on News 3 Now at noon, including another company following McDonald's lead and pulling out of Russia. The day's top business headlines are just ahead.
You're watching News 3 Now at noon.
When cleaning your air ducts, it's important to clean the entire system. An air duct cleaning from Stanley Steamer removes pounds of trapped dirt, dust, and allergens from your home completely. Call today for a free inspection.
Stanley Steamer gets your home cleaner.
When you decide it's time to look at replacing your gutters, you have options. There are a number of replacement gutter systems on the market. Hi, Andrew Larson here, owner of Larson Home Services. My team has spent lots of time looking at the best one on the market, and we found it, Gutter Shutter. Gutter Shutter sets the standard for performance, durability, and beauty with thicker aluminum, wider gutter size, and it's available in 18 beautiful colors. Best of all, Gutter Shutter is 100% made in the USA and guaranteed for as long as your home is standing. My team is dedicated to provide what we like to call the Larson experience. From your first call until well after the job is done, you will be treated like you're part of the Larson family. Please check out our Google reviews and see what customers have to say about us. We'd love to show you why Gutter Shutter means you can stay off the ladder forever. Right now, get up to $1,000 off, free financing for 12 months, and a $100 Visa gift card with your new Gutter Shutter system. Call now to set up your free estimate.
Hey everybody, who's coming to the big show? It's Fed Aid, Saturday, June 11th at Ho Chunk Gaming and Casino in Wisconsin Dells. An all-day outdoor event. Come out for classic cars, trucks, and motorcycles during the day and stay for the concert at night. Featuring country superstar Trace Atkins, Runaway Jew, The Mascot Theory, and Beth Killian. All benefiting heat and housing for heroes. Visit VetAidWI.com for details and to purchase tickets for Trace Atkins.
The D.C. Liberals' spending spree is out of control, jacking up inflation on Wisconsin families, wiping out wage gains, and making it harder for families to make ends meet. Gas, groceries, rent, everything costs more. Senator Ron Johnson is fighting back, voting against the Liberals' inflationary spending and demanding accountability for Washington's rampant waste and fraud. Tell Senator Johnson, keep fighting to stop the reckless spending that is killing us with inflation.
Happy Take and Bake Tuesday!
Every Tuesday at Papa Murphy's, you can get any large pizza for just $10.99, which makes Tuesday the best day to bring home all your favorites.
We might have too many favorites.
Order now at papamurphys.com.
The Stanley Steamer started with one man, a van, and a whole lot of carpet. We've been innovating for a long time. Stanley Steamer now goes beyond carpet. Schedule a cleaning today.
Starbucks is the latest company to pull its business out of Russia due to the war in Ukraine. The Seattle-based coffee giant has about 130 stores and 2,000 employees in Russia. Those workers will be paid for 6 months, and Starbucks says it will help them find new jobs. A judge has blocked the auction of Judy Garland's dress that she wore as Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. The Catholic University of America wants to put the iconic dress up for a bid to fund a new film acting program. It was expected to fetch up to $1 million, but a Wisconsin woman claims that it belongs to the estate of her late uncle. The judge has delayed the auction until the issue is resolved. And Arby's is bringing in more meats. The fast food restaurant, best known for its roast beef, will sell a burger for the first time. The Wagyu Steakhouse burger will be available until July 31st for about $6. Arby's says it's 50% larger than a McDonald's quarter pounder. And that's your CBS Money Watch report. For more, head to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the CBS Broadcast Center, I'm Matt Piper.
Well, people in California could see mandatory cuts to their water usage as the state continues to see a drought. Governor Gavin Newsom says he might have to impose the restrictions if people don't start using less water voluntarily. He's calling for Californians to voluntarily cut their water usage by 15%. But the state actually saw water usage go up in March. For now, he is calling on local water utilities to increase their messaging on water conservation efforts. Taking a look outside, we got another cloudy and cool day in store, but before our next chance of rain, Julian will be in next with a closer look at the forecast.
Violent and destructive riots in Kenosha, the Waukesha Christmas Parade tragedy, record-high homicides in Milwaukee, from defunding our police to releasing violent felons with low or no bail. Liberal Democrats have created the worst crime wave in decades. Senator Ron Johnson is standing with our brave law enforcement officers to keep Wisconsin families safe, and he wants to keep violent criminals behind bars where they belong.
I'm Ron Johnson, and I approve this message.
Hello, I'm Roman Ryan of Ryan Funeral Homes. As a locally owned and operated funeral home, it's important to know that not all funeral homes are the same. Some other Madison area funeral homes are actually owned by corporations based outside of the United States. A corporately owned funeral home is focused on the bottom line, making services more costly. We have served local families for more than 80 years, and our priority is investing in the community and your family. In your time of need, Ryan Funeral Homes are here for you.
It's Terrific Tuesdays at Hy-Vee. This Tuesday, get ground chuck fresh from our service case, only $1.99 a pound. Roma tomatoes, only 99 cents a pound. Hunt's ketchup, only 99 cents. And Keebler cookies, only $1.48. Tuesday only. For more ways to save on hundreds of items every day at Hy-Vee, check out our monthly catalog, our weekly ad, and scan the QR code to visit HyVeeDeals.com for even more deals.
Now you can bring gorgeous, fresh, organic vegetables to your table in just 3 easy steps. Step 1, go to gardenmats.com. Step 2, use our garden planner to lay out your entire garden in order. Within days, garden mats are delivered from our factory right to your door. Step 3, lay the mats down according to your design and plant. After that, spend your summer trying to keep up with each other, not your weeds. Go to gardenmats.com today.
News 3 Now, winner of 18 awards of excellence from the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association.
We'll continue to strive for excellence every day to bring you the area's best local news coverage. News 3 Now.
Tomorrow, we're going to help you sharpen your water safety skills for summer.
Plus, answer our question of the day, and you could win these Summerfest tickets.
Plus, I'm tracking the incoming rain, who's seeing it, and for how long. Join us with your First Warn forecast tomorrow morning from 4:30 to 7.
The Farm Report is sponsored by Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
Let's check in now with Pam Yankee from the Midwest Farm Report on this Tuesday. How are you?
I'm all right. We're keeping an eye on what's going on with the weather, though, because as that rain comes in, I'm sure we're going to hear about it in just a moment. It's going to be measurable rain. Farmers have been doing what they can to squeeze every hour out of every available day as far as field work's concerned. It shows up in our latest crop progress report. According to the Wisconsin Ag Statistical Service, as of Sunday, we had about 61% of our corn already planted. Now, that's behind where we were from a year ago, but about on average for the 5-year stretch. Soybeans, 49% of our soybeans readings in the ground. Again, about even with our 5-year average. 75% of the oats are in the ground and 80% of the potatoes are planted. What the weather has done is improve our winter wheat conditions. 83% of our Wisconsin winter wheat, good to excellent. That's up 4 percentage points in a week's time. And it also looks like folks are starting to harvest first crop alfalfa. Talking a little bit more about what's going on in Wisconsin agriculture. I mentioned yesterday the governor announcing a $10 million grant program designed to help our Wisconsin meat and poultry supply situation. Interesting group down in southwest Wisconsin that might be able to benefit from that. They're called Meat Smith Co-op. They're down in Lafayette County, but they involve beef producers, lamb producers, pork producers from all around southwest Wisconsin. Talked with Heather Opar, who is kind of helping to guide them through the process. They've actually found a storefront in the community of Argyle that they want to try to retrofit and make sure that they can use as a meat processing facility. They're going to start small. They said the co-op model worked best for them, where they will be processing animals for use by the people that grew the animals. But they said eventually they'd like to get that facility to be state inspected and be able to sell that meat. So that's a perfect example of one of those meat processors that got the idea during the pandemic. Now just needs a little financial collateral to kind of keep things moving forward. Meat Smith Co-op, we wish them the best. Hope that grant program announced yesterday can help them out. Talking about dairy, barrel cheese today down $0.01 3/4 at $2.33. 40-pound block cheese down 4 at $2.34. Double A butter up 2 on a Tuesday at $2.88 1/2. Our wheat market, I just glanced at, suddenly falling like a rock, which is interesting because somebody must be getting rain. I know Wisconsin's getting it sometime, but the drier midsection of the United States, where the drought is at its deepest, they must be getting rain too. We'll have to find out.
Let's find out. All right, we'll see you later, Pat. Here's Julian with the weather.
It's funny because of all this talk about rain. We've had a couple of cool days, a couple of cloudy ones, and it's like me when I talk about the winter. If it's going to be cold and just flat out windy, at least bring us some snow, and for this time, at least we're going to start to see some rain. Haven't just yet, but we are going to get to that as we get into tonight. But this is what we're seeing for right now. It's 60 degrees here in Madison. Cloud cover is overcasted throughout much of southern Wisconsin. We are getting a little bit of a breeze, but nothing too strong for us, and it's still on the comfortable side as we continue throughout the rest of today. Temperatures into our 60s throughout much of southern Wisconsin, but a few of us are even into the 50s. So it's a cool day for us as we're starting off our Tuesday afternoon. And here is a look at our visual for that cloud cover. Really starting to blanket areas just south of the Dells and all over towards the Illinois state lines, where we're really seeing that cloud cover really take hold as we're getting into the afternoon. And that's not going to be shaking up as we get into our evening as well. The good news is it's still going to be cool, still going to be comfortable. And then as we get into the later parts of tonight, some of us will start to see a bit of rain. But going into our Wednesday, this is one thing to keep an eye on, folks, is that we will see some rain, but some of that rain could have some storms that could be from strong and to severe. As we can see, areas just south of the Dells is into the marginal risk. That's 1 out of 5 in terms of us to see severe thunderstorms going into our Wednesday. And this is what we're going to be seeing. Really, the cloud cover is coming in from this low, which is bringing in plenty of rain to our friends in the southern parts of the Midwest. As we can see, just a system going in is going to start to trickle its way into the upper Midwest from Minnesota into us here in southern Wisconsin as we continue throughout the rest of our Wednesday and going into our Thursday. But here's a clearer picture of us timing things out. Going into the overnight, especially later to this evening, some of us into the southwestern corridor could see some showers start to pop up, but then it's going to start to be on and off, very isolated throughout the rest of today. And then going into the overnight, again, it's still trying to keep its way into the western half of southern Wisconsin. As we get into our Wednesday morning, especially around the 7 a.m. commute, that's where we're going to start to see some showers and potentially even some storms starting to pop up and being much more widespread here in southern Wisconsin. So around the 7 to 9 o'clock hour, many of us could be seeing showers and even some thunderstorms that could be strong in some areas, but also keep an eye on them to potentially be severe. But since we're going to see so much cloud cover overnights into our early morning, we're not going to be getting that convective fuel to really bring us severe storms. So the confidence is really low in that area, but we could still see some thunderstorms popping up into the early hours of our morning. And then as we get into our Wednesday afternoon, don't be surprised if we see some pop up and isolated showers or storms as well. Now, as we carry into our Thursday morning, still going to be seeing some lingering pop up and isolated showers here in southern Wisconsin, but not a complete washout. The washout will mainly be on Wednesday, and that's why we're seeing very measurable rain chances for us here as we get in throughout much of this event that's going to be carrying in from our Wednesday and especially going into our Thursday. So here's our 3 things we're going to need to know. Our storm and rain chances are going to going to be best going into our Wednesday. However, we are still looking at some showers towards the end of this week. But the good news is, as we kick off our holiday weekend, we are looking at warmer temperatures and plenty of sunshine as well. Even though we do have some chances of seeing more rain and potentially even some thunderstorms as well throughout our holiday weekend, many of us are probably just going to see plenty of sunshine, warm temperatures, is going to be on the dry side. Any chances of that rain or storm will mainly be isolated. Other than that, we're going back to some really summer-like weather. As you can see, those 80s are creeping back, Mark.
Yeah, enjoy the coolness while we can.
Exactly. I'm loving it, though.
I do too. I'd have it all year if we could.
Yep.
All right, Julian, thank you. Up next, Howard's in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. He says it's time to shake up your Memorial Day menu, getting ready for the Memorial Day weekend with a dish that's good hot or cold.
With Memorial Day right around the corner, many of us are starting to think about what we can serve when the family comes over. If you're like me, you want something that you can make ahead, something that'll feed a crowd, and of course, something that's really tasty. How about fried chicken that's so crispy, your relative sitting across from you can hear the crunch? We start by bathing some cut-up bone-in chicken in a mixture of milk mixed with a beaten egg. From there, we dip the chicken into some seasoned flour, and once it's coated, gently shake off the excess flour. Before we add our chicken to the hot oil, we want to make sure the temperature is 350 degrees. This way, it'll cook evenly inside and out. After it's cooked, we let it drain for a second on a wire rack, and it's ready to dig into. You can also make this a day or so ahead and serve it chilled, or simply heat it up in a warm oven right before serving it. Talk about a main dish that will be welcomed with open arms. Of course, you'll want to team this with your typical go-alongs. To get your hands on the recipe for our extra crispy fried chicken, head over to our website. I'm Howard of the Mr. Food Test Kitchen with Kelly, where today we found a crispy, crunchy way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Coming up, UW Health clinical dietitian Michelle Swader has some ideas on keeping your greens green. Stay with us.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
1-800-GOT-JUNK can bring the springtime anytime.
Oh, yes! We make junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
I'm Alex Lasry, a Democrat running to beat Senator Ron Johnson.
And I'm Lauren Lasry, and this is our daughter Eleanor. I know Alex will always fight for working families.
To get more money in the pockets of working people and lower costs.
By making paid leave available and healthcare more affordable.
And I'll always be a relentless supporter of a woman's right to choose.
Especially now. Alex is exactly the kind of ally Tammy Baldwin needs in the Senate.
So I approve this message because we have to do better than having Ron Johnson as our senator.
Those brave men and women of our armed forces, generations of them. Why should today's burdens fall back onto them? They were there for us. Now let's be there for them. Your local Wisconsin energy providers and the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund are working together to deliver Wisconsin veterans in crisis heat, power, and help staying in their home. But they can't do it alone. Donate today.
Things in life are free.
Just wait until he hears about free installation from Feldco.
Free installation? Are you kidding me? Yeah!
Free installation on windows, siding, doors, and roofing. Plus no interest for 1 year. That's something to get excited about.
Free installation ends Memorial Day. Call now.
For quality windows, siding, and doors, call 866 for Feldco.
Look, I know them all. They're friends. But Kevin Nicholson's not establishment, not of the donor class. He's just running to get things done. It's the Marine in him. Kevin organized No Better Friend into Wisconsin's most effective conservative group. Works fast behind the scenes. He exhausts me. Get Kevin in that governor's chair, and the conservative changes others only promise, safe streets, secure elections, will actually happen.
1-800-GOT-JUNK can bring the springtime anytime.
junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Well, keeping your greens fresh, the topic of this month's health segment with UW Health clinical dietitian Michelle Swader. It's a long title, but we got through it. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Everybody's growing things now, going to the farmer's market. You buy some greens, and 2 days later, they're mush.
Right. And I think one of the major misconceptions is that people don't treat it right away. So one of the first things you want to do is, even though you might not be in the mood, to come home and wash it right away. The bacteria and some of the grit that's on the leaves can actually irritate it and turn it brown or wilted before it's time.
From the farmer's market.
Yes, yeah. So the best thing to do is put it in a salad spinner. Anything that would have dirt on it can just kind of fall to the bottom, let it soak there, swish it around a little, let the dirt settle. Then bring it out, pat it dry a little bit, and then something like this you could just kind of roll up and put it in a plastic bag, or even better, put it in a reusable container. And then you're going to have it for a week, even 2.
And where do you store it?
You can store this in the crisper drawer. So there's usually a crisper drawer and a fresh drawer. The crisper is good for greens, things that are possibly going to wilt. Another term for it would be your high humidity. So if you have a dial that you can move, high humidity would be where you want to put your greens.
I could have retired 5 years ago if I wouldn't bought all these bagged salads. How do you keep those? Can you?
This would be a good way to try. A lot of times if you do go and invest the money, buy the organic, buy the local, that's not going to be transported states away. You already have a couple days ahead on your items. So those are for the things that are already cut up. For the things that are still on a stalk, you can actually just put those in a little vase, like a bouquet, give it a fresh cut. That'll help it absorb some more water. And then you can basically cover it with a baggie and just put it in the door of your refrigerator, and that'll still be living, and so it'll still last a lot longer.
You did it with some dill. It lasted a couple of weeks?
Yep, I bought a package of dill, and I bought it at the farmer's market, and I was using it for weeks after it was done. I just changed the water a little bit. I made sure that the leaves weren't below the water level, because then the water gets a little scuzzy and it ages before its time. But most of these you want to keep in the fridge. The one exception is basil. Basil does not like really cold temperatures, so if you've ever taken leftover basil and put it in the fridge, the next day the leaves turn brown. And if you spend a lot of money on good quality herbs, you don't want it just for one meal. You want to be able to keep using it.
So maybe do a little Google search on what can be refrigerated and not.
Yes, there are lots of great graphs and charts that will help you depending on what you've got at the farmer's market or in your garden that week.
And the more greens in our diet, the better.
The better. Great nutrition.
All right, Michelle.
All right.
Great to see you again.
Thanks, you too.
Here's Julian with one final check of your forecast.
Few days. Cool temperatures for the next stretch until we get into this weekend. Then we will start to see a bit more of some warmth that will feel a bit more like summer, especially as we get into our Sunday, heading into our Memorial Day. But aside from that, folks, we are looking for tomorrow to be the real emphasis for it to be a soggy day for us, especially from the morning hours and later into our Wednesday afternoon. Then we do have a couple shots of seeing some rain going into our Thursday, but not as likely going into our Friday. But then starting off for the weekend, some of us are pretty much going to be onto the drier side throughout our Saturday, going into our Memorial Day. But just know we are going to be warming right back up into summer-like feels as we kick off our first week of June. Over to you, Mark.
And first week of June, what, June is 1st is Wednesday?
I believe so. Yes, it is.
Where does the time go?
And it's already going to be into the 80s. Look at that.
Perfect time. Perfect timing. All right, Julian, thank you. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you back here at 4 o'clock. In the meantime, have yourselves a great afternoon.